Welcome to another episode of the .NET Show. In this episode, we're going to talk about Windows Media Center Edition. This is a special version of Windows that ties together all of your media capabilities that you might have at home. Photos, music, and your cable TV. But before we get to that, let's check in with Erica and the news.
Hello and welcome to the MSDN News Update. I'm Erica Wiechers. In early June, Microsoft released an early version of Web Services Enhancements 3.0. WSE 3.0 simplifies the development and deployment of secure web services. It enables developers and administrators to apply security policies to web services running on the .NET Framework 2.0. This release also features better security support, policy enhancements, MTOM support, integration with Visual Studio 2005 Beta 2, and more. Also in June, MSDN launched a new Patterns and Practices site. Microsoft Patterns and Practices provides scenario-specific recommendations illustrating how to design, develop, deploy, and operate architecturally sound applications for the Microsoft .NET platform. The new site features guidance, documentation, source code, and more. Check it out at msdn.microsoft.com/patterns. On June 7th, the second day of Microsoft TechEd 2005, as part of the keynote address, Paul Flessner, Senior Vice President of Server Applications at Microsoft, announced that SQL Server 2005, BizTalk Server 2006, and Visual Studio 2005 will be formally launched during the week of November 7th. In preparation for the launch of these products, Microsoft has been working with customers and partners to gather early feedback. Continuing this practice, Microsoft released the June Community Technology Preview SQL Server 2005. The SQL Server 2005 June CTP is the first pre-release version of SQL Server 2005 that is available to the public. On June 24th, Microsoft announced support for RSS in the next version of the Microsoft Windows operating system, codename Longhorn. The RSS functionality in Longhorn is being designed to make it simple for end users to discover, view, and subscribe to RSS feeds, as well as make it easier for developers to incorporate the rich capabilities of RSS into their applications. In addition, Microsoft announced Simple List Extensions, a set of extensions to RSS that can be used to enable websites to publish lists such as of photo albums, music playlists, and top 10 lists as RSS feeds. Microsoft is making the specification freely available via the Creative Commons license, the same license under which the RSS 2.0 specification was released. And this has been the MSDN News Update. I'm Erica Wiechers.
Welcome back. Like I said, today we're going to talk about Windows Media Center Edition. This is a version of Windows that runs on your computer, but unlike the standard version of Windows, it also includes capabilities to integrate with your media experiences. Now, for a lot of people, that's going to be specifically your TV shows, but it also integrates with pictures, with music, with radio, and some other stuff. There's a lot of opportunities there, both for programmers and for partners and for applications and for just using it at home. To help share what some of these ideas are and how you might gain from Windows Media Center Edition is Charlie Owens and John Canning. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Our pleasure.
So what exactly is Windows Media Center Edition, above and beyond what I just got through saying, and who should be paying attention to it?
Well, fabulous. I guess you want us to explain the more stuff piece of that equation.
More stuff, yeah.
More stuff.
Yeah.
Media Center Edition is a version of Windows that we focused on developing for the consumer. So as opposed to Pro, it's all about the IT professional. Media Center is all about the consumer and what the consumer wants to do with their PC in the home. So what we've done is taken regular Windows XP and added more stuff to it. And that kind of stuff is exposing their digital music, their digital videos, adding the ability to record television, adding third-party services as form like MovieLink or Napster, but all in a combined user interface that's driven by remote control. So instead of mouse and keyboard and finding different programs to launch, we've given the user an experience that is all combined in a single interface, easy to navigate at the touch of a button. This is designed to be plugged into plasma screens, in fact, be able to be distributed around the home So the user starts to really kind of enjoy their content as opposed to it being that labor of love over a 17-inch monitor.
So I mean, is it basically just taking Windows and a DVR and kind of shoehorning them together?
I think it's, yeah, bringing a lot of those technologies together. In fact, what we did is, Windows has the capabilities of being a PVR or a DVR. It has a very large hard drive. What we're doing is we're bringing video through it, caching the video, recording the video if you want to, but then combining a lot of other elements. If you look at the electronic programming guide we have in there, I mean, it's amazingly quick because we're on a PC. We can use the power of the PC to do a lot of things that people in a traditional environment of a traditional cable environment with a box that's relatively low power have a hard time doing. It's easy when we're on an extremely powerful platform. So what we've done is we've taken a powerful platform underneath and made a simple user interface.
Mm-hmm. You can say something,
So
Charlie?
anyway, I think the thing there as well is the fact that it does take the best of the media experiences available on a PC and brings them up to a level that you don't have to be a web aficionado and know how to click on things and get things to working. They just simply work. It approaches life from a consumer electronic standpoint, giving you the remote control, a very nice, easy to use interface that allows you to browse and consume your digital media content. Whereas the PC side of things might be a little bit more of the geekier side, and browsing web pages a little bit more of a geekier side of things. This really brings it mainstream and allows this to be the entertainment device in the home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess part of the problem is like computers, applications like that are written by people that are deep in the technology. They're wanting gigantic spreadsheets. They're wanting huge power. They want to feel that power of the capabilities of the computer at their fingertips.
More buttons.
More buttons, more data, more stuff going on. And it's really not the sort of thing that where you just want to kick back and relax with. You're not kicking back and relax when you're using your computer.
Right.
That's what the TV's for.
We're talking about what is called in the industry the lean back experience as opposed to the lean forward experience. Lean forward is keyboard, mouse, being this far away from your screen. Lean back is really sitting back, enjoying, grabbing a remote control, realizing that the only most complex action I'm going to do is this. It is also, like Charlie said, bringing that kind of more user-friendly aspect to the media. It's not a complicated management interface. It's which album do I want to play? Being able to combine experiences. So in a minute we'll show you listening to your favorite tunes while playing a slideshow of your digital photography. Maybe being able to just hit the print button and print it out for a friend if you want to take it with you. Being able to switch between these media experiences in a seamless fashion. I think that's the real challenge is today you can do a lot of that with a PC, but for a lot of users out there, they're looking at it going, well, which application do I really want to use to play this piece of media? Or do I need to launch that? Or where did I put all of these things? So it's really making bringing the accessibility the way we want it and harnessing that power. People go out and buy very expensive PCs today with a super amount of hard drive space and fast CPU and a ton of graphics. What are they doing with it? They're checking their email, they're browsing the web, they're looking at video that's postage stamp size. So we're really saying, you got a powerful platform, let's use it.
It's really much more than just a DVR inside a PC as well, as we'll see.
Yeah.
So why don't we take a look at some of the capabilities that it has? Since we've been talking about it so much, I'm sure our audience is anxious to see exactly what it looks like.
I know I am.
Oh, fantastic. You've seen this before, though. I know that. So the first and foremost, we're looking at the screen here. This is Media Center's interface. Now, if I go and grab a mouse, for example, and I think I've got one here, you'll notice I got full mouse control. I can, in fact, resize this up in a corner and work on the regular desktop. So we're not taking the capability of it being a PC away from the user. What we're doing is we're giving you a couple of different options. But in this option, when I go ahead and press the green button on the remote control, launches into this interface. We call it the 10-foot interface. And gives you a representation of these things that is all now, like I said, completely driven with a remote control.
So now behind this, Windows is still running.
Behind this is Windows
Why
is
don't
still
we show
running.
it?
All right.
Just minimize Media Center and look. Windows.
So this is a Windows PC.
This is a full Windows XP PC. I can be doing everything you normally do on a Windows XP machine. You could be playing a game right now if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, when I grab the remote control, hit the green button, we're going into this other interface. But if we want to, maybe I'm going to go ahead and resize it for a second, move it up into the corner. maybe go into the TV environment, and maybe go watch a piece of TV while I'm going ahead and surfing the web, maybe looking at my email, things like that. Want to make it smaller? So it's got the elements of traditional applications out there. We're not necessarily saying we're doing brand new, never before done. What we're starting to do is bring a lot of the normal concepts out of disparate programs together in one environment that is manipulable. As we'll talk about later, and I know later in the show, we're actually going to dig into the programming of that. People can find out that they can start taking and using those elements for their own programming environment. But so if I go quickly into, for one thing I always like to do, especially with my media centers home, is I have taken almost every CD I own, copied it to my hard drive. And in fact, I have it on a different PC at home. So when I brought the media center, I just shared out that library off the other PC in the home, told media center to go use that network. But this is the representation I get of those files on the other PC. So instead of a bunch of esoteric names, I get my album art. I can go ahead and select an album to play. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to go and subject you to maybe vacation photos, or in this case, maybe some impressionists and nature shots. We're just combining these experiences. I never launched another application, just navigating around up, down, left, right, okay. We get the experiences that we want to. We can do some things like maybe change how the picture is rotated. I've always had that problem, and I'm sure you have, that picture shows up in your library like that. Printing. So if you're really like one of the masters here, we could go ahead and print it out on a printer. Maybe we have at home. Some simple touch-up features. So maybe I want to go ahead and fix some red eye in the demon child picture that I'm sure we all have, or some contrast. Not that you have demon children.
That's correct.
No,
The neat thing about this, Robert, is the fact that we're persisting the music interface here down the bottom left-hand corner, and you're still enjoying your great content while you're also editing your pictures, for example.
So
very
if
simple,
we
the
actually had the
basics.
budget, put speakers on this computer right now, we'd be hearing music right now.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
exactly. I'm pretending right now the great music is playing.
Okay.
You can tell it because that little play symbol's going and the counter keeps going incrementally. But yeah. And that we're persisting it even into other things. So we went into pictures and we came back into here. Music is still playing. I can pause it. I can start it. I can go ahead and switch tracks if I want to. So it's the idea that we're going to keep these persistent things going. So what I'm going to do is wander through some other areas. Now, I don't know about you. I do some personal videos at home. I actually download a bunch of stuff off the web. I'm sure Charlie has a bazillion videos of his children. This is one of those places you're gonna be able to put those.
And actually, we've had a great feature of Media Center come up that I've got those great videos on my home network, and here it's actually prompting me. We have a whole wizard that allows you to go out and find all those great videos, integrate them in Media Center. You don't have to go searching through this folder on that computer or this folder or that folder. We allow you to find those great experiences that are already
I've seen this
persistent.
video before.
Have you?
I think everybody's used this video at one point or another. This is actually representative of no child I actually know. I just want to be. I hit the pause. Now, the transport features across music, across video are all going to be the same. So again, it's same consistent user interface across a bunch of different kinds of media experiences. If I go back to here, I could start that video playing in the lower left-hand corner. So again, give that feel of you're always in touch with your media. You don't have to stop doing one thing to do another thing. You can keep moving through the different experiences. If, for example, I started downloading a movie from Cinema Now, there's a folder that shows up in my videos with those movies. Other companies can build applications that pre-populate content in different areas. So if you subscribe to, say, a music service and you say, every month I want the new album, well, they could chunk the new album into the background there. So this idea of not only is my personal stuff, but it's stuff that I'm finding out there on the internet as well.
So far what I've seen is something that to me looks like a great consumer experience, a great reason to go out and buy a Media Center Edition PC. What exactly are the opportunities for partners, for people to writing applications that are going to take and extend this capability? I mean, is it something like that, or is it more just it's in the box, what you see is what you get?
I'm so glad you asked that, because if we didn't have that, neither one of us would have jobs right now. We would be doing something completely different. The extensibility environment in Media Center is something we focus on. In fact, the two of us do, in bringing partners because it is a platform. It has a lot of these great set of what we call core features. But early on, we looked at it that while I'm sure your digital photography is perfect, and I'm sure the videos of your kids are fantastic.
They are.
You may want some more stuff again. And that stuff comes off the web. It's stuff that I loan you. And how do we bring that into the environment? And so we expose a programming environment in here. We actually host HTML inside Media Center. And the SDK is out there on MSDN, publicly available, as well as what I was about to go into is show you some of the great stuff that partners have already done on our platform. So there's a number of different ways to get on the platform. They're certainly working with our team, downloading the SDK, signing an agreement to be an online spotlight, which is a marketing agreement. Partners can go work with PC manufacturers and be added directly there. Or they may just be plucky people that want to say, look at my website and download this thing to add to your Media Center, which they can. I think, later on you'll see Charlie and some other folks show you some of the stuff that they personally built. We see a lot of enthusiasts out there in different websites publishing their own little apps. You want the Seattle traffic pattern? I can get you a Media Center app that's doing it. Some person out there wrote it. So,
I also think that it's kind of what sets Media Center apart as all these great digital video recorder, music, pictures, DV, all this digital media is the fact that it is fully extensible and that partners and developers have a way to plug in their experiences. So if I have music, I can go get more music at MSN Music. If I have pictures, I can share those pictures out through Kodak, for example, and my friends with their Media Center PCs can browse the pictures that I've shared on the Kodak service. So I think that's really what really sets it apart is the fact that it is a platform that allows additional folks to come along and build other great experiences. We possibly can't code up every feature that every consumer would want. We've done a core set, but we've also created a platform by which others can come in and really realize a lot of their hopes and dreams and goals for
Just
the
like
consumer.
when Windows was first created to be a platform that allowed you to write an application that can make use of menus and windows and dialog box and stuff like that. So the people
Absolutely.
writing a spreadsheet application didn't also have to be experts at writing graphical user interfaces. You've now done something, so I don't have to be an expert at, gee, how do I interface with a tuner or remote control or other stuff like that? I just want to focus on my core competencies.
Exactly.
And if those core competencies can be exposed in a consumer media environment,
Exactly.
if you look at our SDK, you look at the samples, it's all geared about, and in fact, we talk about this often, we don't tell you how to program in HTML. People know how to do that. What we do is we talk about in the SDK how to interface that with the Media Center environment. Give you the tools to quickly take a page and add navigation to it. The tips and tricks around doing that, how to play video, where to place it, how to play audio, things like that. Because that's the key here is turn people who already have great content. If you look at MovieLink, Cinema Now, companies that are already focusing and saying, I want to get content to that big piece of glass over there, the television. The PC started becoming that enabling technology. It's not necessarily, I wanted to build it for the PC. No, I want to build it for that big piece of glass, and there's this super powerful platform underneath it. And that's really the focus that we take with a lot of our partner companies is, you've got developers that already understand the coding model. In some cases, it's going out and working with a design team that understands a navigation method that's up, down, left, right, and is designed for a more simplified user interface. But yeah, we've seen a lot of companies just get it and go hit the ground running. The business model is theirs. As all we're doing is hosting a portal, a redirect service, like the early days of the web when you wanted to know where to go, you went to somebody's web page and they had the 10 links you cared about. Well, that's what we're doing. And then once you're there, once you're at Cinema Now, you sign up with Cinema Now, your subscription or your pay-per-view is with Cinema Now, and you're downloading movies or you're streaming movies. So that's the focus we keep having is growing that base. It's movies, it's music, it's sports, it's news. It's all a variety of things.
so what exactly are we looking at here now? So this is
Cinema Now. This is Cinema Now's interface, and what you're doing is you're looking at a web page. We're hitting a web server at Cinema Now. If your viewers out there go to a web browser real quick and cinemanow.com, they're going to bring up what we call 2-foot, an IE-based website, that they would see some of the similar movies there and be able to go through there and order a movie. In this case, we've just got more of a movie store feel to it. So, you know, we maybe want to rent Electra. No comments about the quality of the movie, please. But, you know, Jennifer Garner, I thought, did a great job with sharp, hooky things. We can watch the movie, in some cases, see the trailer. Some of these movies are either download or streaming. And again, prices will vary. It's downloaded to your hard drive.
And the neat thing about, for example, Cinema Now and others like them is the fact that for my family, we don't have to gather up the kids and go down the street to the movie store and browse and worry about my 3-year-old grabbing 14 movies and throwing them on the floor. From the comfort of our couch, we can now have multiple providers, multiple selections of different movies and different providers for that content. We don't ever have to leave our house. We can get that content. We can chunk up a bunch of them and a bunch of downloads, so it's like Netflix on demand. In fact, we've had an enthusiast create a Netflix application that allows you to schedule your Netflix movies and rent them and decide, I'm turning them back in, send me the next one. So it really provides a platform by which consumers can really get to that great content from their living room using the PC, and they don't have to be geeks or know how to navigate sometimes confusing web pages to get it. It's very simple.
Yeah, the Netflix app, you know, they just took the RSS feed that Netflix publishes and just created something off of it. I've seen an eBay app done the same way. So it's like I said, sometimes these companies aren't doing it, but they've provided the interfaces to be able to allow enthusiasts to do it. We turn a little bit of attention to, I've talked about a bunch about internet services, you know, things you traditionally find on the web that, oh, by the way, this may make it easier to get to. But there's also things we're doing with partners, traditional media partners. So in this case, I've gone to the ABC Family site, where this is what's on ABC Family, built by ABC Family, branded by them. And so instead of going to a traditional electronic programming guide, which, you know, is grid-based and full of all this, you know, all this different kinds of information, I'm now going to a site that is much more focused on, if you like ABC Family, this is all about ABC Family. It gives you a richer experience than a traditional guide would give you. And you can watch from here. In some of these guides, you can set programming. So, oh, great, I want to record that show tonight. Set the recording straight from their applications. And that's based off of our API. So I've gone back to the guide. This is the way to consume everything. But ABC Family is no richer of an environment than, you know, KTWB.
Right.
And
if I'm a big fan of a particular station, I might want to take and understand them a little bit better.
Sure.
And they can offer great content and services. So what we're seeing is the melding of that internet pipe and that typical broadcast pipe. For example, ABC Family, you can go up, see previews of shows. You can schedule recorded shows. You can tune immediately into the ABC Family. If it's a company that has multiple feeds, for example, Discovery has Animal Planet, and they have the Discovery Channel, and they have the Travel Channel. In the guide, what's in Media Center, you know, they might be on Channel 8, Channel 56, Channel 412. It allows them to put all of their family of channels into one place and allow me as a consumer to discover all the great content, schedule it for recording, get web-only features, and as we might talk about later, the advertising models here are kind of interesting because in the age of a DVR and ad skipping, this is a way that you can customize content specifically to the user, because you can have a user opt in and say, I'm Charlie Owen and I'm 36 years old and I like these things.
Right.
And I can deliver as a part of that web portal advertising that's important to me as a father of 2 kids, not a young fellow that is not married yet. But
That would
no
be
hard
me.
feelings.
For anybody wondering out there, that
So
would
the
be me.
advertising is kind of a neat thing that a lot of partners are approaching this as another value add for the advertising space as well.
Yeah, the nice part is that we're seeing a lot of innovative things happening by companies. They're either taking traditional experiences, which in the TV world, I'm seeing a lot of 2-screen, you know, television saying, hey, go to abc.com. Well, on abc.com, you grab your laptop, and that's fine. They're seeing an audience that is doing both things at the same time. You know, ABC Enhanced Television here in Media Center brings it back together. If they say, they don't have to say go to abc.com. It's
Right there.
select it, be able to interact with the show, be able to get more about the show. It may not be high touch. It may just be supplemental information that you care about. So there are a lot of different fun aspects to what people can start looking at. Online Spotlight is, like I said, the assembly of different kinds of things. The nice part about that is if somebody really likes something, they can add it to their media center. I'll show you, for example, if you go into Cinema Now, I can add it to more programs. Sure, I want to add that link. So if I go into Media Center now, I've got an area called More Programs, which I like to call my favorites. This is direct links into those different services. It could be my list of favorite stuff, if you will. Back to that stuff theme. We're not going to let it go. And so I have the different services that I've added in there, you know, MSN TV, MSN Reuters, for example. And I don't have to go into the big set of stuff. If I subscribe to a music service and I'm fine, I don't need to go back there. I mean, go straight and navigate straight to somebody like Reuters from here. And the nice part, I was surprised today. I was doing a demo for somebody today, and I went to Reuters, and that's my old standby. I like their site. They're doing some innovative stuff. I went there and went, it's changed. These partners are now in control of their own destiny. You know, we've got a link to them, but they update their sites. Reuters has added some new stuff. They're now having a GE advertisement over there, a little banner ad from GE. So there's some
old business model kicking in, huh?
The old business model kicking in. And the nice part is different companies will explore different business models. Some are pure marketing. Hey, this is yet another way to garner eyeballs. Some people are going to do the banner ads. Some people are going to do the subscription models. What we don't do is we don't get in the middle of that. We're a platform team.
So what sort of companies outside of your standard media companies, like a Reuters, like a Napster, like a Cinema Now, do you see as capable of taking advantage of something like a platform like this?
It's a lot of fun. We've internally started to see people come to us and want to do everything from, I know a hotel in Sweden that has media centers in every room. We've seen game companies. So there's a number of different kinds of game portals that are starting to emerge that you'll see over the next couple of months. And at first you look at this and you go, gaming and remote control. But because this environment, we can launch out of this environment. You see me going to a website, well, I can also launch to a D3D game and just minimize Media Center in the background. So a gaming portal where I'm sitting here, maybe using the common controller that was recently announced, plug into my PC, I suddenly have a very rich gaming experience just driven by the PC on the Plasma. Home automation.
The list goes on. I mean, we've got NewsGator now, which is an RSS aggregator that allows you to watch content, and it's specifically geared. So it's a new way of delivering content. So, for example, we could watch we could watch Channel 9 videos, or we could watch the .NET show within Media Center using a remote control via RSS. And they've specifically built their service out to do that. So RSS is a new thing that's coming to, or that's already at Media Center. I've seen a couple of shareware Hotmail news readers that allows you to quickly scan your email as it comes in. So I use things like that in the morning. We've had, gosh, there's probably about 47 different weather apps that allows you to worldwide sync up your weather and see what the weather's going to be like. So that's one of the first things I consult every morning when I wake up, fire it up, look at what the weather is while I'm watching the Today Show in the bottom left-hand corner. So it really allows us to mix and match. We've got Here World Trivia, which is a great game that you can download, that it's kind of like, what was that?
You don't know Jack sort of thing?
Something like that. Like that. You don't know Jack, but it's a world trivia. They've also got a contacts where you can do that. One of our program managers, Ethan Zoller, has created a caller ID on steroids that allows you. Caller ID is built into Media Center, but his is a application that runs inside of the .NET framework inside of Media Center that allows you to add pictures and answer the phone and not answer the phone and all kinds of really neat
Have
things.
canned responses for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang up on mother-in-law.
And
but
you know, those things,
really great.
There's those apps that, you know, Charlie is a little embarrassed to talk about that are some of his favorite ones, like the one out of Korea called iDance. Yeah.
Are you going to demo that for us?
I probably won't demo it.
Not today. Okay.
iDance is and we look at it that different services work in different parts of the world. iDance is a a 3D avatar dancing program. You choose your avatar, choose your place, choose your music, and then it will actually do the moves, and you're supposed to dance along with it to learn how to dance. And I'd like to say that Charlie's dancing, quite frankly, has
Yes.
improved.
So watch that over there, and the culture over there is the young folks like to learn the dance moves before they ever go to the dance hall. So iDance is providing a
Saves me an awful
service.
lot of embarrassment.
Well, and John too. So, but this is a unique cultural thing that we never thought when we dreamed up the platform that this was not even in our lexicon at that time.
Yeah.
But it's really neat to watch that level of innovation and to learn a new dance move through Media Center rather than going through a web page and clicking and all that other stuff. Just use your remote control. It's a very natural left down upright navigation model.
I'm
Really
dying for the
cool stuff.
karaoke. I
Someone hasn't done that yet?
I know a couple of folks that are talking about it, but we're going to see karaoke. I
That
mean,
seems like an obvious thing.
it does to me too. We've got to see these things starting to happen. The online spotlight is specific to each country. So we program it out of the U.S., but each subsidiary brings different partners to the table. So what you see in the U.S. online spotlight may not be what you see in the Japanese spotlight. Some partners are worldwide, some are very local and regional based on rights. So the great news about it is it's also just isn't one size fits all. If there's a German partner out there that's very German specific, they can launch in Germany, maybe even Austria or Switzerland or some of the other countries, and they don't have to worry about, well, this isn't, localized for a particular other country. And that's really what we've tried to focus on is it's a consumer product. It should be focused around what the consumers want, where they're buying their PCs.
It's great that you also brought up the international aspect of it. The nice thing that it's a platform that's worldwide. In other words, you can write the same code and you don't have to do anything special to support a different platform, a different thing. So for example, in Europe, you don't have to worry about the PAL versus NTSC standard. You just write your application and call the service that tunes the TV channel. We've taken care of all the other stuff for you. So it's really powerful. You really only have to localize your UI. So for example, Reuters wrote it once, and that is distributable worldwide with only the localization of the text and the videos. All the underlying code and everything like that is ready built. They don't have to write for a different platform in each of the different parts of the world. As far as I can tell, that's kind of like the first time that's really ever happened from an interactive TV type standpoint, that it's one platform worldwide.
Go ahead.
I assume that since we're not necessarily done writing Media Center PC, we've got more advances coming out in the future. Are there any hints you can give us about what to expect to see, what more capabilities might be coming down the line that applications might be wanting to take advantage of? Or is that kind of riding the edge there, but too far?
Robert, I like you, and I'd hate to have to kill you.
And I'd
No.
have to kill you after that.
Right, there'd be a lot of death on the stage. It wouldn't be pretty. We are constantly focused on bringing the new sets of technologies. We're a part of the Longhorn family, so there's going to be a lot of goodness coming in the Longhorn timeframe. We're focused on bringing that into the Media Center environment as well. So I think tune in at PDC. I know I'll be there. I suspect Charlie will be there with me. And I've got a session at PDC talking about the new models in Media Center. So
a little teaser.
Let me add on to that.
but wait, there's more.
Media Center has embraced the two most popular development environments ever, HTML and the .NET framework. And we expect that to only get bigger and better as time goes
Absolutely.
by. So I think what we have shown you today and the platform aspects today are, interactive TV, it really just, people are loving it by what you're actually able to do today with the platform. That is just going to get heads and shoulders even better as the next couple of years, and maybe even sooner than that, goes by.
Now, if there's any companies out there watching right now that are interested in maybe getting their applications or their core technologies available on the Windows Media Center PC, what should they do next?
What they should do next is go grab the SDK. It's up on MSDN. I think it's msdn.microsoft.com/MCE, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'll stick the link in the transcript.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. And that's the first step. Second step is got to get the platform. Available in a number of different ways. Brand new PCs, it's available as an OS download on MSDN. There's a number of different ways to get developer kits for Media Center and start playing with it and get a sense of the environment. Some companies who initially say, I want to be a Media Center because it's the new OS that we have out, start playing with it, and you ask them the question, well, what features do you really want from a remote control standpoint? In some cases, some applications don't make sense. They're sys-tray, they should stay there. The less interaction with the user, the better. They'll run on Media Center just fine. And then there's some companies like a Movie Link or like the power of what we're doing is exactly what they want. We have an alias called MCE Spot at Microsoft.com where we take the random submissions, if you will. Companies that are interested in being an online spotlight, we may never have heard of them. They can email us with essentially an application and what they intend to do. We go ahead and work with those companies. Like I said, some companies it doesn't make sense, and some makes a lot of sense. And that's only one way. There's the other way is a lot of PC manufacturers are looking for partners. The Alienwares, Dells, they're all, some cases, shipping partners specifically to their Media Center products. HP has 2 partners specifically for the HP product, as well as all the enthusiast sites out there. PressTheGreenButton.com, XPMCE. We see a ton of applications out there. People are selling them. Enthusiasts are buying them and downloading them. It's great stuff.
Well, that's good news. I'm sure our audience has enjoyed, hearing what the capabilities are of the Windows Media Center. And after the short break, we're going to actually see some programming associated to it and see what it means to actually write some applications for it. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Our pleasure.
Robert.
So hopefully that gave you a good idea of what the Windows Media Center is, what sort of applications you might want to either run on it or write for it. And after this short break, we'll actually see what some of the programming environments look like and how you could actually write your own program to run on Windows Media Center Edition.
Changed my life.
But less is more. Reference guys just don't add up.
They don't?
No, I don't. Yeah, I can't get the reference guys to probably work. Either the stupid thing works, or I start leaking like crazy. Then I get the circular reference problem. I just can't figure out how to get it running. That was the very first program that was ever demonstrated. So I had it.
Oh yeah, I love that.
The cool thing about free cells.
Bye, Painter. Don't work too hard.
No, I'm sorry, Thompson's out today. Nope, Smith is out. Yeah, no, Johnson's out too.
Welcome back. Now, we've got an idea of why the Windows Media Center is out there and who are the people going to want to pay attention to it. But what we want to pay attention to now is actually what you do with it once you've got it and you've decided you want to write some programs for it. Joining me back again is Charlie Owen, and now we've got a programmer, Michael Creasy, to show us some code, and now I actually write code for the Windows Media Center. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
So, for a programmer, someone out there that's doing, C#, Visual Basic, HTML, JavaScript, whatever, how do they actually get started writing programs for Windows Media Center?
It's a great question. I think the first thing is to go up to MSDN and download the SDK, the Software Development Kit. It comes with samples, comes with sample code, comes with some ready-made applications actually that allow them to cut and paste their own features into that. It provides a browsing model that automatically pays attention to the remote control and navigates and stuff like that. So that's the first places I would start, is get the SDK, take a look at it, understand kind of the basic features of that. Second, I would also encourage developers to go into Online Spotlight and check out what else is out there and how different folks have built different types of services and content specifically for Media Center, to get an idea of what kind of environments and experiences you can build. That really provides a really basic foundation for starting out on your own development efforts.
This is still just Windows we're running here.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so I can write a standard Windows app and it'll still run on the Windows Media Center.
Similar, yes. You can write hosted HTML applications, .NET add-ins. All those things work just great inside of Media Center.
Mm-hmm. And so does things like Excel
Absolutely.
and Quicken and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could do some things like those types of things. Typically, though, our extensibility model is hosted HTML. So the web applications that run inside of Internet Explorer is very similar to the type of environment that we provide within Media Center for UI.
And you're speaking Media Center from the standpoint of the user interface model that's sitting there, what you call the 10-foot experience.
That is correct.
Rather than the fingers on keyboard sort of experience.
Right.
And you can switch back and forth between the two, between the Windows Media Center experience and the standard Windows desktop.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you would run Media Center. We have a full screen, sitting here right now, but you can also run it in a window while you're doing other tasks with your mouse and keyboard. So you could be watching TV in a window while you're doing your email and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what are the benefits that a programmer gets by, rather than just simply writing a Windows application running on the desktop, and writing an application that's actually running within the context of the Windows Media Center?
Well, within Media Center, you get access to your media for a start. And unlike on the desktop, because we have the broadcast pipe in there, we have a TV feed, so you can get access to TV. You can use your application to use TV, you can use video, you can use music directly into your application, just like a part of the Media Center experience. So you get access to a whole load of APIs that we've implemented just for Media Center specific.
And what sort of things would that implement? Like if you were going to write a program, what would you imagine writing something like that?
So there's a variety of different things we can do with the platform. We can have a look at some code for tuning to a TV station. But we have a whole API set for all around media, playing media, displaying notifications to the user. But because we're HTML, because we're managed code, you've got access to the full .NET world. You can do whatever you want. And we've added some specific things to make the Media Center experience better.
Okay, let's take a look at some code, see what it looks like.
So let's start by a quick demo. What I'm going to do is bring up an HTML page. It's using JavaScript. What is on the page, we're using the find service API that we have. Find service is used for tuning to TV stations. So let's bring this up, and the JavaScript on the page is going to run, and it's going to tune us to MSNBC.
What a beautiful user interface there.
There we go. And so MSNBC has tuned in for us. So if you can write an application that's tuned to TV. You don't need to know which channel lineup your end users have. You don't need to know that MSNBC is channel 47. Because we've got the guide, because we've got this data already, we can work that information out. You just tell us, I want MSNBC, and we'll do the work for you. So let's have a look at the code of how this works. So here we are with that. This is just a HTML page. We've got some JavaScript on the page. And all the real functionality here is find service. We provide here the name of the service that we want to tune to. This is MSNBC. What this actually will provide is an array of results. So you can use wildcards, so you can get a whole variety of TVs and stations and narrow it down to what you actually need. But here, we then go ahead and we use play media. This is a function we built in to play TV, to play video, to play music. And we're taking it from the array that we've got, and we're saying it's the first one. We happen to know that MSNBC is only going to match one channel. But in the real world, you'd want to do a bit more narrowing
So you've
down.
taken a couple of shortcuts in the code just because you knew what the formatting was.
That's right.
But makes a good demo anyway.
So we can easily change this to tune to something else. So I think the Discovery channel,
It's going to be DSCP.
DSCP. Yep, there we go. That's for the Pacific Coast feed, isn't it?
Right.
So let's save that. And what I'm going to do is restart Media Center. I'm just going to use the remote control for this. So I'm pressing the green button on the remote control. Media Center is going to start up. Inside Media Center, all your applications get stored in more programs. We'll talk more about that later. And let's go to Find Service, and with a bit of luck, we should get to the Discovery channel. And there we go. There's the Discovery channel running. So it's very easy to tune into various different stations.
Now, you mentioned about the UI. It's very simple. The sample code that we've got today, that we're showing today, is really just to kind of give you a little bit of a flavor of some of the things that you can do with Media Center. The nice thing about HTML and that model of UI is it basically any web developer today can program all these great experiences that we saw in the previous segment about an online spotlight and some of the partners that we showed in there with really great, wonderful UI experiences. Those can all be built within Media Center and can be leveraged by developers today.
And it just makes it that much easier to write programs for it. And then you can spend more time and add some fancy graphics and stuff like that, just like you could on a web page already.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yep.
Now, for something like that, I mean, like, I could see a home programmer, you know, I know I'd have a lot of fun writing some code like this, doing things so that, you know, every morning at, 5 o'clock when I get up, maybe CNN comes on so I can be listening to the news and I don't have to actually go manage it myself or do some other things of that nature. What about programmers that are writing programs for real on Windows Media Center? Not the home geek, but someone like an AOL, a Yahoo, a Quicken, they might want to take and write some sort of, Quicken support for it, or Discovery Channel wanted to write some sort of application that ran on top of it. What are the key things that they want to focus on, and what are the key capabilities that Windows Media Center provides them to do?
Great. So Media Center really takes that broadcast pipe and that internet pipe and puts them two together and allows you to mix and match those experiences. Traditionally, the broadcast pipe has been in the living room of the home, can really only do a passive experience with that. You can maybe do some channel tuning, channel surfing, some DVR capabilities, but pretty much that's a passive experience. With the internet, that's typically in the home office or in the den, and you can do really highly interactive experiences there, but you don't really have the depth and the breadth of all the broadcast TV and the other experiences in a way that's easily navigable with remote control. You have to click through a lot of pages and web pages and a lot of textual information to get at really great content. And the nice thing about Media Center is it brings those two worlds together very tightly, allows you to navigate those experiences with remote control and really create wonderful experiences that meld those two. It's really exciting to see some of the partners that you've mentioned, like Discovery and AOL, bring experiences to Media Center, leveraging all of the APIs and the methods, one of which we've shown today. Discovery allows you to tune to their channel from within their web page and actually create a whole set of their family of channels in one place. So that if you're a fan of Discovery Channel, today if you go into the electronic programming guide, all of their channels might be in a lot of different places within the electronic programming guide. So for Discovery, it's a really great place to bring all of their family of shows together in one place and use a very common web application development model for which they already have staff ready and building out their existing Internet Explorer, what we call 2-foot experiences today. Use that great knowledge and mind share and bring something to the living room.
Now, what about companies that maybe aren't quite your standard conception, like a Ford or a Boeing? Is there anything that programmers for those companies can take and leverage with Windows Media Center?
Absolutely. I think we're really beginning to see some interesting advertising models. We were talking earlier today of, in this world of digital video recorder, advertisers are really scared that we have the channel skip or the ad commercial skip. And this allows a company like Ford or General Electric or these others to reach out directly to the consumer and provide great experiences that are navigable with remote control, provide those previews of the new car that's coming out, or the new light bulb from General Electric that allows your facial features to be magically transformed. It allows them to bring these things directly to the consumer in a way that really hits the consumer where they're relaxed and comfortable in the living room watching TV. So we see a lot of this. For example, the AOL Music on Demand is a great example of allowing me as a consumer to choose which music videos I want to play in a high quality, very close to broadcast standards way. It's not typically what you would see in web video. We're used to seeing very small 300K streams in web video, and these experiences are much higher bandwidth. Really great experiences for the consumer where they're relaxed. So I think we're going to see some advertising things there that consumers and companies are going to be put together without a lot of middleware, if you will, interrupting that process.
Now, of the different features and capabilities of the Media Center, we've just looked at TV so far, but there's also, I'm seeing like, my pictures, my video, my music, and the radio and stuff like that. Are all those also programmable? Can I access the object model for those?
Yeah, you can play music, you can play videos, you can start slideshows, but also you can kind of bring your experience to My Music.
What's that mean?
We can go into My Music here, and I have a little bit of content on this machine, I hope, while it builds up my library.
And the object model that you're programming against, is that available only to applications running within the context of Media Center, or could I be in a desktop mode and still have access to some of those features and capabilities?
So great question. There's a couple of different ways that you can develop for Media Center. One is the hosted HTML model, which is pretty much you launch it, you experience it. When you leave it, you're no longer experiencing that. But through managed code .NET Framework add-ins, you can create experiences that persist throughout the Media Center experience. So they are launched when Media Center is launched, and they continue to run. So for example, Michael has a great application that's an RSS feed reader that has a managed code add-in that runs 100% of the time in Media Center, getting his feeds, bringing them down, and it runs inside of Media Center, and it provides, we saw a little bit of a pop-up, it provides a little bit of a toast that says, you've just gotten a new article, would you like to go read it now? So I could be watching TV in full screen and then know that my friend Michael, who has a blog, has just posted an article, and I can then select that and go read it right there from my Media Center PC. So there's a couple of different ways that you can develop for Media Center that is both persistent in one particular session or persist regardless of where you are in Media Center. So it's very powerful that way.
So someone like, let's say the Food Network could take and write an application like this and be paying attention and say, oh, you're currently watching the Food Network channel, and this episode currently has these recipes on it. I'm going to take and grab those recipes from the website and download those to your local store or something like that.
Absolutely, totally doable within Media Center.
Now, what we're going to show here in the My Music section.
Here I am in music, and I have the music that I already own. I can go down here to more music. I can go straight to MSN Music to purchase more music, where I can look at an album so that I currently have, and I can bring up the context menu on this piece of media. I can say, tell me more about this. Now, MSN Music, I've already installed this app, they've registered. once I click here, MSN Music now gets that information, that what it is that I last clicked on. And actually, they haven't found any albums that match, but
It's a pretty specific search. Only with laughter can you win. But the neat thing is here they picked up the context of the music that Michael was listening to or enjoys, and will provide him a list of results that match that particular album or artist.
And so that was an add-in that MSN Music
Right.
provided. It wasn't
It's a
part of
way that a partner can extend the platform so that, contextually speaking, they get more information. So hopefully we'll pick
See if
up
I can
on
find
one
something.
here that will.
There we
so,
go.
For example, here is all the albums that contain the title or metadata called Portal. In this case, that was the song title of one of the others. So now Michael can drill down and find other content that meets a search term. But it's not limited to only search. We provide a mechanism by which we can pass metadata to that third party, and they can choose what to do with it and offer you multiple ways of leveraging that metadata and that content.
And all what we're seeing right now on the screen, this is all handled by this rendered HTML mode.
That's right.
So this isn't Media Center painting the bits on the screen. This is a standard HTML
Yep.
that any programmer could take and
Absolutely.
essentially provide the
Exactly.
same.
Everything you see on screen right now is provided by the third party, in this case, MSN.
Now, are we seeing an awful lot of vendors stepping up and writing applications for the Media Center and providing, whether it's MSN or Discovery Channel or someone else like that?
Yeah, we're very pleased to see that the number of partners that are coming to us is actually more than we can track at this point. It's really amazing to watch the enthusiast community really embrace this platform. Major providers. AOL is on the platform today. XM Radio is on the platform today. Napster is on the platform today, offering this type of interface and this kind of functionality to consumers in a direct way.
And do you see a lot of people buying Media Center that are geeks like us that aren't getting necessarily for the Discovery Channel and MSN and AOL add-ins? They can get more for the code that they can write themselves and just have fun with it. I mean, my first computer was not something I bought to buy programs for, but so I could write programs for it.
Yeah, I think Michael and I can definitely agree that the enthusiast community, the geek community, has just fawned and just fell in love with Media Center PC, because it really does allow us to take the PC out of that home office and put it into many more rooms of the house through the extender technology.
So this pop up on the screen. This is the blog pop-up you were talking about.
Yeah, this is right.
This is probably a good segue now to move into the blog. Let's take a look.
So
at
this is a when we talk about geeks and enthusiast community, blogs is all about that. So what Michael has done is he brings it up. He's written an add-in that pays attention and listens for when different people he's subscribing to for their blogs post. So if he is subscribed to my blog and I post, regardless of where he's in Media Center, he will get a notification that I have just posted a blog. And then he can select and go read, and he's created a hosted HTML application that allows him to drill down and go to these individual blogs and actually read them within Media Center. And you notice down in the bottom left-hand corner, he could be watching TV while he's reading these blogs. So again, it takes that broadcast and the internet pipe and kind of melts them. And in fact, we have a partner called NewsGator that creates a feed that is specifically geared towards audio and video. So it allows you to read the feed, but also for podcasting and video blogging, allows you to consume that content right in Media Center.
So you mean people could actually watch the .NET show on their Windows Media Center?
So in fact, I watch the .NET show and Channel 9 videos exclusively on Media Center in my house. I don't go to the web, I don't go to the internet. I subscribe to the RSS feed, select it in Media Center, and watch it with my remote control. So I get all the benefits of pause and mute and volume and stuff like that.
So it sounds like maybe I should write a plugin for Media Center.
I think it's about time.
Hey, there we go. You guys give me a machine and I'll start writing code for it.
Done.
So what did it take to actually write this blog reader?
So this is something I kind of wrote in my spare time, and kind of play around with the platform to make sure that we were doing the right thing. It consists of two parts. I have the managed code add-in that's running in the background, that's checking the RSS feeds, it's pulling them down, it's seeing when they were last modified, working out whether there's any new content there.
And this is just like standard C# code like you'd write
Yep.
even for a regular desktop application.
I could take the same code and have a desktop version. The actual Media Center specific code is very small. pulls down the data off the web, works out if it's new. If it's new, we saw the toast pop up with a little notification saying, hey, there's new content. That came with a little button there that said read. If I clicked on that button, I would have got straight to this page with the new articles at the top of the page. And the pages itself are just pure HTML and some JavaScript. They're dynamically created by the add-in, so when there's new content, it creates the new page.
So you're not actually reading the blog on the pages that they author them into, you're just reading the content of the blog within your reader that you've designed for the Media Center experience itself.
Yeah. Just taking and parsing the XML and then converting it to a format that's more readable from a 10-foot experience, so I can sit with my remote control and as I am here, so I'm browsing the BBC's for site, for example.
Now, could you also take and then add to that program to make it so that you could now become a blog aggregator? You could kind of say, well, gee, here's a good one. I actually want to republish this on my blog so that people see the things I'm currently reading.
Absolutely. We have a control to do input via the remote control. You can actually type your entire blog from the remote control if you...
Ouch.
if you wish.
However, if you're a person who likes to, put information out there that I've read Michael's blog and I really liked his entry, I could sit there and say, okay, post a link to this on my blog and I could rate it. So maybe not typing an entire blog entry, but a very simple thing of, I'm going to review Michael's blog post and say, I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. Now post this on my blog. Totally doable within Media Center. Something that kind of makes sense for remote control. I wouldn't necessarily want to type an entire blog post with triple tap, but doing similar things of like ratings would be very cool to do and very lightweight and easily accomplished with remote control.
Plus also, I mean, I'm assuming your programs can also understand the fact the remote control is talking to it and take advantage of that. And so you could actually display, here's, 12 different pre-canned responses you can put into it, and you just do a drop down and pick which one you want.
Absolutely.
How to go.
Absolutely.
So it might look like you're typing an entire blog entry. But,
those standard standard replies would be really cool.
And actually, you get the ability to use the remote control basically for free. This page, I started off with a sample from our SDK, which has the minor amount of JavaScript needed to actually use the remote control and to navigate from item to item. And my choice of colors aren't great here. It's not showing up, but I can scroll up and down using the remote control. And there's no real specific code in the page to do that. It's just one of those things that we throw in there for free to make it easy to use.
It's just a text list that's just taking stuff on its own.
Yep.
And that's kind of the great things about the Media Center platform is that we've done a lot of the heavy lifting for the developer. In other platforms that have been out there till today with Media Center, you've had to write off, basically write your own remote control navigation code. You've had to start from scratch, figure out the HID commands, do all that really hard work. We've done a lot of that work for you so that you just subscribe to an eventing model and say, did they push the up key or the down key, and manage the focus on the page. So where the barrier to entry with remote controlled applications was very high once upon a time, with Media Center, it's actually very low because as part of our SDK, we give you the templates that does all of that in HTML, in managed code, .NET Framework add-ins. You get all that for free, so the developer can really concentrate on delivering the feature set that really makes a compelling app and not making a keyboard, which is essentially what the remote control really is a different type of keyboard, work at that level. They can really focus on compelling features that makes a really nice, wonderful app for consumers to use. We try to make it really easy for developers to do that.
And from a development environment standpoint, are you still using Visual Studio? Is just a plugin for it? Are you still using standard JavaScript coding? Or
for the general JavaScript, I actually do most of it in Notepad. But for the add-ins, Visual Studio is a great environment for it because it is C#. It's very easy to go ahead, and there are plenty of samples out there to get people started. In fact, we could take a look at some of the code if you'd like.
Sure, we'll do that.
So let me bring up the code for this RSS reader here in Visual Studio.
And by chance, is this RSS reader code available for download someplace? Because I'm sure some of my audience is going to take it and want to put this on their Media Center PC.
It's not currently, but that might happen soon.
It will have to.
There's still a lot of work before before anyone would necessarily want to use that. But I can talk a little bit about the kind of the add-in model.
Okay.
It's a .NET assembly. It compiles down to just a DLL, and you have to make it a media center add-in. There are a couple of interfaces that need to be implemented in the code. I have tons of samples listed in my blog to make it really easy that you don't need to memorize this. Just copy and paste and change the names accordingly.
And I'll put a link to your blog in my transcript, so people just go to the bottom of the transcript and get a link to your blog.
That's great.
Get access to this information.
So let's kind of delve down into right into the media center code. This is what we call a background add-in. This is something that's going to be running in the background of Media Center all the time. So I start off by reading some registry keys. It's all just standard C# code. I haven't done anything Media Center specific yet. But what happens down here is once I have a feed, I determine that it's been updated, and I want to tell the user. So I'm using the dialog notification. That was the toast that we saw pop up at the top right-hand corner of the screen. I'm providing it with the title of the feed, a button which I've defined up here as just saying read, an icon which is defined in the feed itself. So if the feed has a logo, I can pull that down and actually put that in the button to make it a little bit more customized.
I didn't see any of those icons on this. Some of those feeds weren't providing their own graphics, it doesn't look like.
That's right.
I think we saw the first one, or the second one was a BBC feed, so you saw the BBC logo there.
And then I just have another function to handle the user actually clicking on that button. And actually, that's the only media
That's like
center.
one line of code.
Yeah, that's the only media center specific line of code, other than the implementing of the interfaces, which is maybe 5 or 6 lines of code. And that's the only media center specific code I have there.
So aside from this is a standard Windows desktop application. You could even take an existing, blog reader style application as long as you designed it with good separation of business logic and presentation logic.
That's right.
And just put a media center wrapper around it.
That's a great observation. In fact, that's what a majority of our partners today have done. If we look at like the Napster had to do zero work whatsoever to enable their back end to support Media Center. They put a new fresh face for remote control navigation on an already existing back end, and was very easily implemented that new web store so you can buy and purchase and license music from Napster. All they had to do was change the presentation layer. All the data, all the logic layer didn't change one bit. So we're really excited that that allows people to take the great experiences that exist today for digital media and content on the web today and very easily port them to Media Center and be able to put that experience into other rooms of the house.
So let's say I'm a person in the audience and I want to actually start writing some code now for Media Center. What specifically do I need to do other than, I guess, buying a Windows Media Center PC?
Buy Media Center PC, download the SDK. All you need is your choice of an integrated design environment, which could be as low tech as Notepad or as high tech as Visual Studio. There's really nothing required outside of that. There's no licensing of the SDK that's needed. It's all free out there on the web for you to design that experience. There's lots of enthusiast sites that once you've built that application, that experience, that you can put it on. Michael and I blog a lot about things that we see on the web that people have designed that have put out there for users. So there's a variety of ways, and then we also have a way for partners that if they develop that experience and want to have it broadly publicized within Media Center, we do have the online spotlight that we looked at earlier that allows as a showcase for partners to get broad exposure to the end user community of Media Center PCs.
Okay. So if you send me links to some of those enthusiast sites that you like mentioning, I'll make sure I put those in the transcript as well. As well as links to the SDK and so forth.
Absolutely.
But to me, it looks like a very exciting platform for developing on. In the same way that originally things like the Apple II and stuff like that were kind of these hobbyist sorts of things that actually had real business value to it as well. You had a hobbyist community and a business community both leveraging the same platform. I think this, in my mind, is kind of the modern equivalent of that same sort of thing.
Yeah, we definitely think it's a sleeper hit. I think people, when they experience Media Center firsthand, the light bulb goes on. They just go, wow, this is so cool. It really takes the whole concept of my media when I want it, where I want it, in the home, and really expands those horizons. And we're really super excited that the developer community and companies that have great content and great experiences already on the web are delivering those now for Media Center in a fresh, new, exciting way. Media Center is just a terrific platform. It's a great win for consumers and developers and companies that have great experiences.
Okay, great. Any final words either one of you want to provide the audience?
Go out there and try it. It's really is very easy. The code for this, the RSS reader, was probably less than a day's work to put together. It's .NET. It's very easy to work with.
Great. Great. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm sure our audience got a good insight into what it means to actually write an application for Windows Media Center. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of these cool applications coming out, either hobbyist or professionally designed things from Food Network or Discovery Channel or whatever.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that allowed you to see some of the benefits of programming for this slightly new model of the Windows Media Center. Not only can you leverage your existing knowledge you have of C# and .NET programming, as well as HTML and JavaScript and so forth, but you can also take and gain some value with some of the unique capabilities that the Windows Media Center provides you. Thanks for joining us.
With me today is Rob Bennett. He is Product Unit Manager of MSN Entertainment. Rob, welcome.
Thank you.
So why don't you start by telling us what all the different divisions that comprise MSN Entertainment?
Sure. MSN Entertainment is the team behind MSN Music, our legal online music downloading service that we launched in October of last year. We also produce MSN Video, which is our free streaming video service, where we have clips from MSNBC and Discovery Channel and Fox Sports and Maxim, literally thousands of clips every day, as well as the entertainment content sites like MSN Movies and TV, where you can find out about celebrity gossip and see photo galleries and get movie listings and TV listings. So it's just an amazing set of very, very cool properties to work on.
Okay. Now, is the music section or the file downloading, is that your most recent addition?
Yeah, that we launched in October of last year, and obviously online music is a space that's getting a lot of attention these days. And so we were a little bit late to the game. We were the first to admit that, but we came out with a product that we think is really satisfying users. People really like the experience that we've built. A lot of people have actually said it was very un-Microsoft, the way that we designed the service, and it's very clean and simple. So that was great. We love that feedback, and we've actually just started to do more marketing around the service and let people know that we're out there. So we're really excited about the possibilities there.
Okay. And what does it mean to be Product Unit Manager? What are your responsibilities exactly there?
So as Product Unit Manager, I manage the development, program management, and test teams, as well as our editorial teams, the people that put together the clips and the content for MSN Video, as well as work very closely with business development and the marketing teams to bring the products to market and get great partners on board.
Okay. And have you been doing this for a while?
Actually, this job I've been doing for about 7 days now. I spent the last year focusing on product management, specifically around our entertainment properties, and just recently started to focus more on some of our video, kind of next generation products that we're going to be coming out with later this fall and early next year. And so it's all new. It's very scary, but it's a lot of fun. There's no shortage of work to be done, and there's a ton of learning, and the space is so fast moving that it just keeps you on your toes.
Right, with multimedia. Can you talk about MSN Video and some new things you might be doing in that space?
Sure. MSN Video has been out for about 1.5 years now, and when we started, we had about 6 million streams in that first month of January of 2004, and just this past month we did 60 million streams. So we're just thrilled with the growth. We've been a leader in the space for pretty much since we launched 1.5 years now. And just recently now, AOL and CNN have launched their free streaming players that are ad-supported. Google's launched a video service. So the competition's heating up. People are starting to notice that we've been out there kind of quietly under the radar doing our thing. And now all of a sudden the spotlight's turned on video. And so we're going to be doing a couple releases this fall. I can't really go into too many details, but suffice it to say, we want to make video a completely integral part of the MSN experience. So instead of maybe having to go to a specific page that lists all of the videos, wherever you are on the network, whether you're in Instant Messenger or if you're on a specific channel page like the autos page and you want to see video of the new M-Class from Mercedes. You can do that without leaving this page and actually have rich multimedia experiences wherever you are on the network.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's a ton of fun. We've been working hard, getting user feedback, getting partner feedback from our content partners, advertisers, and we're excited to be delivering some really cool stuff this fall.
Oh, that's great. So have you been at Microsoft for a long time?
I've been at the company on and off for about 10 years. I started here in '91. Actually started out in the field in Boston as a systems engineer, and then moved out here in '95 to work on Windows 95. And did a bunch of things: PR, product planning, some technical roles, some marketing roles. Then in late '98, kind of got .com fever along with everybody else, and decided to try out a couple different things. Left the company, did some entrepreneurial things in the streaming media space and in the home networking application space. And then got the call in late 2003 to come work on the music service and help bring that to market. And it's been a personal passion of mine, and I'm a musician myself, and so I wanted to really build a service that my friends would use, my fellow musicians would use, that they would love, that they'd want to sell their music on and bring it to consumers. And so I came back to the company and been here since November of '03.
Okay. So you said you're a musician. Do you play a specific instrument, or are you in a band?
Yeah, I play jazz saxophone. I don't get as much time these days between work and our 9-month-old daughter, but it's something that I started when I was in high school and toured around for a little while and played in a few bands. And I try to keep up with it, but it's something that I could always spend more time doing.
Do you have any recordings?
Not that I'm going to tell you about.
We can't put them in the related
Nope,
links?
nope. We're going to keep those a secret, man. It'll be hidden gems someday.
You mentioned Boston. I was going to ask you with your CBGB t-shirt if maybe you were from New York, but you're from Boston?
So from Boston, but I actually grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. Always say Boston because people know where that is. And then lived in Boston for a long time, but obviously, so close to New York, went there all the time, and went to CBGBs many nights, saw some live shows. And that's, I think, what really got me hooked on music in general, is just seeing live music. And we really tried to capture a lot of that energy in the music service that we built with our editorial content. And we actually just launched a new program where we took 6 people. It's kind of like Road Rules or The Real World. We took 6 people who entered a contest on MSN Spaces, where they basically got to tell us about how much they love music and why they'd be great kind of music reviewers for us. And they're in a bus right now touring the country. It's a completely pimped out bus with Wi-Fi and plasma screens, and it's going around the country. They're at Bonnaroo. They're going to Amsterdam, which is coming up in August in New York, and just kind of telling the story about MSN Music. They're blogging. I guess the bus actually got hit by a car the other day, so we're all kind of anxiously reading the blogs every day to see exactly what's happening with our crew on the road. But they're having a blast.
There's
People
going
love
talking
it.
to people in all the different cities.
Showing off the great devices that are available that support MSN Music, demoing the service, giving away free downloads, and just basically telling people, how easy it is to find legal music online, that there are alternatives to those, supposedly free services that actually, end up costing you a lot more than you'd think in support costs, et cetera. And they're just having a blast, they're getting to see a lot of live music, and they're trying to bring back the feel of all those great shows to the music service.
That is so cool. Is it a competition? Now, does like the winner get a job at Microsoft, or?
No, it's not that. I think, they're all winners, in their own way. They actually all kind of focus on different areas. So there's a jazz person, there's a hip hop person, there's a country person, and they all get to see. I was reading one of the postings the other night about this one of the women who got to meet Dave Matthews, and it's just very, very cool stuff that is I think a rare opportunity, and they've got a great summer ahead of them.
And you can see it on the MSN site.
Yeah, on music.msn.com, and there's actually a separate site we've set up called findwhatyoulove.com, and it's got all the blogs from all the people on the roadshow out there.
That sounds great. So what are some other things besides music that you like to do outside of work?
Well, as I mentioned, I've got a 9-month-old daughter, so that takes up a lot of my time. I was chatting in the green room and saying that, it's one of those things that kind of changes your life. You have no idea. And a lot of people, Microsoft, it's, work hard, play hard. And then you kind of have the responsibilities of being a dad at home. But it's great. We still managed to have a great time with her. And, as just kind of a family, as well as, traveling and skiing and playing tennis and just kind of being outdoors and being active. So it's great. It's Microsoft is sometimes, obviously you work a long day, and it's great to be able to get out, and the company's, so supportive of letting people kind of explore their passions and do other things outside the company, and just, basically have fun. It's good work-life balance.
So now, where do you see, or where would you like to see MSN Entertainment in, say, 10 years?
Your crystal ball is probably as good as mine. 10 years is a long time, but the way I see it, entertainment content, music, and video is going to be pervasive. It's just going to be wherever you are, you're going to have instant access to an unlimited supply of content. So if you're in your living room and you're having a dinner party and you just want to listen to some jazz, or you want to check out the new Coldplay album, it's literally at the touch of a button. Or if you're on a portable device, and maybe that device, right now they're kind of very individual devices. It's a very personal experience. But over time, those things are going to get connected through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and maybe you'll have the ability to basically listen to, a million songs on the road, or watch videos, be able to get a very personalized experience. So you're sitting on the train, and you've got a half hour, and you've got the 5 videos that are going to be perfectly targeted at you instantly. Looking at things like Xbox and next generation gaming consoles, being able to integrate digital media, personal digital media. So maybe you can change the soundtrack out on Forza Motorsport. So you don't want to listen to the soundtrack that came with it. You want to pick 5 songs that you like right now. You can listen to that. I just think it's going to be a very personal, pervasive experience for people.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been great.
Great. Thank you, Erica.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of the .NET Show.
And stay tuned for the next episode on IE7.
And until then, we'll see you on the web.